And while it is certainly not wrong to celebrate communion, it must be understood it's a man-made institution. All Yeshua clearly meant by his statement is, as often as you do this, do it in remembrance of me, was that he is now the true Passover lamb. Remember him. Don't remember the Passover lamb. And so for all believers in him, on the occasion of Passover, they need to view him as that lamb. Does that make sense to you? And with all this talk of remembrance, let me remind you that the wages of sin, that term, is merely another way to express the concept of the curse of the law. It's two ways of saying essentially the same thing. Now please hear me and take this in not only for yourself, but especially tell your believing brothers and sisters that the curse of the law is not the law itself. The curse of the law is the consequence of breaking the law. And the consequence of that is death. The curse of sinning is not just the sin itself. The curse of sinning is the consequence, the wage of sinning, which is eternal death. What is it that defines sin? What tells us which behaviors, what attitudes are in line with God's will and which ones are not? Well, God says it's the law of Moses, the Torah. We must do all we can to educate an unenlightened church about a terrible, false, and unscriptural doctrine that the law is itself a curse. What a silly thing. For the giver of the law is God. The law is good. God doesn't change. The Lord doesn't give us what's bad, tell us to be obedient to it, only to turn around later and say, well, actually that thing I gave you, it was really bad. So now I don't want you to do it anymore. Now think about that. If he would do that, why would he not abolish what he's done in the New Testament by means of Yeshua, declare it bad and wrong sometime in the future, and then give us something else? Why wouldn't he? The next thing we dealt with